Oh god, I'm just so done with canon comics that at this point is just desperate, is just weak in what Marvel and Disney are doing with their comics. I just read Star Wars issue number 1 of the 2025 series and it is a discombobulated mess. They're still using Luke as a vessel for new stories that make no sense, that people just don't care about, and it really reminded me of like the glory days of the comics. The Legends comics still live on, while the canon ones have just been going downhill so badly, so fast. It makes my skin crawl when I think of how the comics started. The 2015 Vader comics and the 2018 series, Darth Vader was at his peak, and I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, do you want me to cover more of my own original like concept ideas and crazy what ifs, like in a comic version? Like I said, Darth Vader goes to investigate a Star Destroyer that has been defunct, and he realizes that there's a virus that has been unleashed and there are now zombie stormtroopers. Would you seriously want me to cover those fanfic comics that I made myself? At this point, I really want to make something I'm passionate about rather than cover these new canon comics that really just don't have any spark in them. And they don't give me joy. They don't give me anything. I'm so tired. I remember the days when on this channel I would post previews. So what Marvel would do is just post a preview a week before the comic would release. And the previews alone were fantastic. The stories were very intricate. And the 2018 version just showed you the first year of Darth Vader and how badly it was for him to ingratiate himself within this new empire. Nobody knew him, nobody from their perspective. Vader just popped up out of nowhere. Anakin was dead, so this Vader guy, the right-hand man of Emperor Palpatine, who is he? People felt threatened by him, even Tarkin didn't know him. And then came the Darth Vader 2020 series. And it was interesting to a point. In the first issues, he travels to Naboo, and he goes to Padme's grave and finds out something, and all of a sudden it just started tumbling and tumbling. It was no more recovery. I just couldn't see any way out of it. And I stopped like covering those comics. I just stopped. Even though my channel suffered, I stopped because I couldn't do them. I was just not passionate enough. How did we get here? You know those meme videos where it's like, I read the first issue of Star Wars 2025 so that you don't have to? I did exactly that. I read that comic, I bought that comic with money, and even though it's on the cheap, I still regret giving out that money. They're just out of stories and they don't know what to tell about Luke anymore. Similar to the sequels, they're using the same formula. Let's just introduce nothing characters that we don't care about, and the main characters become the side characters. Even when they have like a interesting idea, it leads nowhere, it goes nowhere. Seriously, the stories are so discombobulated all over the place, you don't know where to focus. Do you realize that in Legends, even comics that weren't completely canon back in the day when they were released, like Star Wars Infinities, I mean, do you just think about 1 second what happened in Star Wars Infinities A New Hope? Yoda hijacks the Death Star and kamikazes Coruscant. He crashes the Death Star Jedi Temple first, kills millions not only aboard the Death Star, but he kills millions on Coruscant and probably destroys Coruscant altogether, because the comic just ends with Yoda crashing the Death Star on the Jedi Temple, because now it's Emperor Palpatine's palace. It is truly fascinating that they could get away with stuff like that, and they told stories bar none. They didn't care. They didn't care about anything, and it wasn't this corporatization that we see today. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. If you look at the games, if you look at the comics, if you look at the novels, everything feels like a corporate plan. Nothing really of significance comes out of these comics or any material, because it's just, it comes out and people forget about it a couple of days later. Nobody cares. And why should we, even YouTubers, care? Like, my channel is called Star Wars Comics, and I started with Star Wars Comics, and today it's so bad that I generated my own comics. Like, for example, there's a great story that I made. It's like those fanfics, but in comic form, where Darth Vader goes aboard a Star Destroyer where there's a virus released, and there are stormtrooper zombies that he needs to navigate through. It's just a one-off crazy story that I don't care where it leads or where it stands in canon. I just want a good story. I just want a good story to read to my audience. And I just don't have that right now, because clearly Lucasfilm and Disney, they don't know what to do. They give us movie titles like Star Wars Starfighter. It's just a nothing title. And Sean Levy, everybody, I mean, Ryan Gosling probably will be great in that movie, and the movie will be good. But think about it. Star Wars Starfighter, they're still stuck and they can't get unstuck. It's fascinating to me. We had Knights of the Old Republic. Just listen to that title. It's pure gold. 4,000 years before the Skywalker era. The KOTOR games didn't care about starfighters, TIE fighters, Darth Vaders, or the Skywalker lineage. They told an original story with original characters, and we still play it, remember it, crave it to this day. And I hope we have an Oblivion remaster version of KOTOR at some point. Not that the game is not still playable, I still play it, but of course a rehash or remaster would just be great. Coming from this low point, anything would be great. So yeah, I'm kind of done with Star Wars comics for the foreseeable future for canon. I'm gonna try to find, I'm reading right now a lot of Legends comics. I'm going back to where I started with my childhood. There are some magnificent, great comics, even if they were canon at the time, like Star Wars Tales, for example. I just covered a Boba Fett story. That was great. People loved it because it's just pure original. People that perhaps didn't even ever write Star Wars did a fantastic job just telling a story right there with key characters focused on the key characters. They didn't try to go reinvent the wheel. They used Boba Fett to tell a Boba Fett story. And that's why not only am I going to cover Legends comics more, but as I said, I'm gonna make my own comics, and I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, do you want me to cover more of my own original concept ideas and crazy what ifs, in a comic version? Like I said, Darth Vader goes to investigate a Star Destroyer that has been defunct, and he realizes that there's a virus that has been unleashed, and there are now zombie stormtroopers, and he needs to find the culprit and the origins. It was of course inspired by the original Death Trooper novels that showed zombie stormtroopers and the virus. So I made a comic like that, and about 5-6 more comics that I'm trying to unveil as time goes on. But would you seriously want me to cover those fanfic comics that I made myself? At this point, I really want to make something I'm passionate about, rather than cover these new canon comics that really just don't have any spark in them. And they don't give me joy, they don't give me anything. I'm so tired, hate the state that they have put us in. The canon comics started okay with Darth Vader and Star Wars issues, now is just terrible. I have nothing for you guys when it comes to canon.